Rock Solid Wrestling makes its way back down the Mile of Gold and returns to Kirkland Lake, Ontario for the first time in 4 years. Saturday night, August 19th, live from the Northern College Athletics and Wellness Center, it's a night of fights in support of community living Kirkland Lake, featuring Canadian heavyweight champion Scotty the Body, Cody Deaner, Krystal Moon, Tornado, and more. Get your tickets online at rocksolidwrestling.tickit.ca or in person at the Pronto store on Taylor Avenue. Rock Solid Wrestling is back in Kirkland Lake, Saturday, August 19th. Don't miss it.
Hey everyone, it's Alexia and Nicole, and you're listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Sealed of Approved Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, but I am not with Mike. Oh no, this week it is counted out with Tyler, not Mike. Holy moly. It is counted out with Tyler and Krystal. I am joined by the current crossbody pro wrestling women's champion, Krystal Moon. Krystal, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
See, it's funny. I have a running gimmick on our show where I usually screw up people's names, but this might be the first time that I screwed up my own name, so I don't know.
So first for everything. There's times where I don't even remember my name, so I totally get it.
Well, before we get into business, first things first, have to compliment the shirt that you're wearing right now. I don't know, for those of you that are not watching on YouTube and listening, it is a fantastic, looks like an old school X-Men cartoon shirt, and I am all about that.
Yeah, I'm a big X-Men fan. Obviously the 90s comic and the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the movies. But the comics are there. The TV show is the way to go. The cartoon.
Oh yeah. See, I'm probably a little bit older here. I'm pushing 40 right now, so I grew up with that cartoon. So every Saturday morning would be X-Men into the Spider-Man cartoon, which is also very good. I don't know if you checked that one out or not.
I don't know.
The Spider-Man, it was like the animated series or something. It was really, really good. It was like the similar theme to the X-Men one. I would highly recommend that if you're a Spider-Man fan.
Good to know. Okay.
But I guess we could probably do a whole separate podcast on X-Men and Spider-Man and all this fun stuff. But I think the people
would love to do a podcast, or even just like a couple episodes of like dissecting the cartoon versus the movies.
Ooh.
I feel like I would just rage though.
Yeah, I get that. Like, especially like the Apocalypse stuff, like that Apocalypse movie. I'm just like, come on. Like, but I don't think that Apocalypse, I guess in the cartoon they did a better justice. But I feel like the comic book is where they really like put Apocalypse as the badass.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Who's your okay? I'm gonna ask a couple comic book questions now. We'll get to Kirkland Lake in a minute, I promise. All right, but I wanna talk about maybe everybody loves the Wolverines and the Cyclopses and the Storms or whatever. But who are a couple of the under characters that you really like in X-Men?
So I do like Rogue, but I like cartoon Rogue. I don't like movie Rogue.
Me too, mon chéri.
So she was just like a cool, badass chick in the cartoon from what I remember. And then I watched the movie, and it's nothing against the actor. It doesn't translate to me. Yeah. I don't feel that connection. And Gambit, come on, he was a smooth talker. His powers might have been meh, but he was he was all gimmick. He was so cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, the cool suit. When I was a kid, I thought Gambit was the coolest guy. And Rogue with the accent. Oh, the coat and the little headgear thing he had on. Let's go, Gambit. I like a deep cut as well. I liked Havoc from the X Factor.
Ooh, okay.
I thought he looked really cool. When I was younger and I was playing with my wrestling action figures, I would mix in the X-Men as well. And Havoc was always a strong champion in my federation. Havoc was always a strong champion.
See, I had a few like wrestling figures, but I would mix in my Sailor Moon figures with my wrestling
There you
figures.
go.
I mean, like cool comic book figures, but I had Sailor Moon, so I would mix the two.
So we have just stumbled across a side project for the future. I think it has to get done. The X-Men, yeah, and I bet you we could still find a wrestling crossover at some point between it, but because there's a wrestling crossover and everything.
100%.
How about this for a crossover? Saturday, August the 19th, Rock Solid Wrestling presents Punches, Piledrivers, and Pinfalls. This event is in support of Community Living Kirkland Lake. And of course, you are going to be on that card. You are going to be making your Kirkland Lake debut, which I want to talk about in a little bit. But let's kind of talk about Rock Solid Wrestling and just what your experience with Rock Solid has been like so far.
Yeah, so Rock Solid will always be near and dear to my heart because 6 years ago, they actually gave me my first match. So they will be near and dear to my heart. I got to wrestle Casey Spinelli, a Canadian legend and on the scene. And I didn't wrestle as Krystal Moon. I wrestled as a masked panda bear.
I love that.
In fact. But yeah, I was very fortunate to have that opportunity and be in that locker room. And it's been the same ever since. I recently been really picking up some steam with Rock Solid. I'm very fortunate for that. So great locker room. And if you're a part of it, you're a part of a locker room with a lot of legends and people that you want to sit under their learning tree, right? So I love Rock Solid.
Absolutely. You know, I want to pick up on that first match that you did there. What's more nerve-wracking, the fact that it's your first match or the fact that it's against a legend like Casey Spinelli as well?
Oh, man. Like, what a combo that they put me, like, with, right?
Here's the deep end.
Yeah. Not only was it my first match against Casey Spinelli, I was under a mask, and 2 out of my 3 coaches were there.
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure.
So what do you remember about the match? Tell me a little about it.
Yeah. So it was Bracebridge and I believe Collingwood. I believe it was like 2 shows. It was a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I believe though. I know for sure Bracebridge. And I don't remember much. I just remember I was in like a ninja costume, a panda mask. My hair was braided at the side, and I came out to kung fu fighting. Naturally. And yeah, I was terrified, but being under a mask, I didn't really have to focus as much on like my facial expressions. I kind of just had to sell with my body, which was kind of cool. And you're a panda, so like I'm supposed to be a panda. So what am I really supposed to say? Like, do I growl? So there was a lot that I just kind of was thrown into. But Spinelli, like I said, she is one of the best. So she definitely guided me so I didn't make a complete fool of myself. Yeah, and I remember after my first match, I came back, and I just started crying. I think it was just I was so nervous, so scared, and I finally got the opportunity to have my first match. And then like some of my favorite people were there to be able to watch it. So it was very, very, very overwhelming. And that has been the only time that I've worn a mask.
So am I going to get a lot of heat with you if I start an online petition to bring back the Kung Fu Ninja Panda, or are we set with what we're seeing now?
It's funny. I've had it like when I've talked to a couple of people and I tell them about my first match, right? Because everyone wants to know and it's a fun story. And I tell them about the Kung Fu Panda and they're like, we got to bring it back. We got to bring it back 2.0. Like we got to figure something out. So I feel like if you start that petition, you'll have a couple people that will sign it.
All right. That's your good Halloween costume, at least. Halloween wrestling show. You're bringing it back.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned getting to sit under the learning tree of some people, and one person I'd love to talk about a little bit is working with Tornado. The guy has just done it all. He is a bona fide legend on the Ontario scene. He's done work with the WWE. He's just one of the best in the ring, and even right now, I love the work that he's doing. He's just so smart in there. What's it like being around him and just getting to pick his brain?
It's amazing. Like he's always in the ring. Like he always wants to help us like younger kids in the business, right? And if we're sitting around the ring and we're hanging out, he's like, "Okay, let's go to the ring. What are you guys working on? What do you want to try?" Like, so he's always there to better everybody. And no matter how busy he is, he always watches matches, which I love because you can get feedback and what worked, what didn't work, what did he like, what didn't he like, right? And that's big because he's so busy, right? So him being able to take that opportunity to watch our matches and giving in critiques is amazing. And he's done it all, and he is in great shape. He's an amazing worker, and just like an overall amazing human being as well. Very fortunate to be around him. So.
And he would just absolutely hate the fact that we're putting him over as much as we
I
are,
know.
because that's what makes it so good.
He's gonna see this, and he's gonna be like, excuse me,
I wish I could I wish I could clip this and tag him in it, but the guy doesn't do social media. He's like he's like the real hidden panda ninja. You can't find him anywhere. So I just have to hope he stumbles across it so he can be pissed off about it. I had a great moment with him in up in Barrie for Tid's last match.
Yes,
They came up for that, and I actually have, because Tornado was my guy. Like when I was first got into Ontario indie scene, I was drawn to him and Tyson, and like Eric Young was all over the place at that time, and I was drawn to them. And I actually have like the original Tornado shirt that he threw to me in the crowd. It's like Scott Hall cut, and I kept it all these years. So I brought that to the show to show him, and I had a couple Polaroid pictures of him working on Raw that I showed him, and I gave him the pictures, and so we had like a pretty cool moment there, and that was cool. So he's claims that he will come on my show because of that. I just need to reach out to him, so I'm going to hold him to it. I might break the Tornado mystique and get him on a podcast.
For sure, you definitely have to.
I want to stick with Rock Solid Wrestling here for a little bit, and kind of like take me through a typical show day for you, because I've seen you around on the Barrie shows and the crossbody shows, and you show up and you're constantly working, you're constantly doing something, whether it's helping with the ring or just mingling with everybody and talking and just being a great presence in the locker room. So what's a typical day like for you when you get up in a Rock Solid day?
Yeah, so if we're talking about Rock Solid, they actually little known fact that the ring that they do use is actually Crossbody's ring. So me still always forever being a Crossbody student, even though I've been wrestling for 6 years. I still help out where I can. So the group of us, the students and other Crossbody students that are on Rock Solid, we meet at the Crossbody gym, and we unload, we tear apart the ring and we load it up into a ring truck, and we drive and we get to the venue and we set up the ring. So we're there pretty early for Rock Solid shows. Our days are pretty long, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. So yeah, we get to the venue, we set up the ring, and then just start putting your match together, start getting ready, but just like mingling, because there's also a lot of with Rock Solid, the community's great, so you have a lot of volunteers, so just like introducing myself to people I've never met or people that I'm familiar with within the Rock Solid family, and just mingling, catching up with people, because some of the wrestlers that work for Rock Solid I don't get to see very often. So just like catching up with them, and just getting everything ready, getting Krystal Moon ready, and then going out, having my match, meeting fans, and then once the show's done, we have to tear down the ring, load it back into the ring truck, and we drive back to Cambridge, and we unload the ring back into the ring truck, and then I go home and sleep.
Jeez, that is a long day. And you mentioned, the rock solid fan base and family, and I would get a kick in the ass if I didn't give a shout out to one of our favorites, who I know is a rock solid regular, Rob Arabic. Got to give a big shout out to Rob. We love Rob, so he is the best.
What a guy!
Shout out to Rob. If you know Rob, you know, and I think that's pretty much all you have to say about Rob. If you know, you know, right?
That's 100% all you have to say. And like, I feel like half the time you don't even have to say his last name. You just say Rob, and they're like, okay, yeah, we know who that is.
Yeah, he's the best. Love Rob, and
Yeah.
great supporter of this show, and as well as all independent wrestling. Kirkland Lake, let's talk a little bit about it. You're making your debut up in Kirkland Lake. What's it like for you making debuts in new towns? Is it a little bit exciting? Is it nerve-wracking? How do you go into a show in a town you've never worked in?
I love it. Like, it's great to go out and travel, and it's super exciting. And obviously I'm nervous because I don't know what the crowd is going to think of me. Right? Like, there's a couple towns that I've been to quite often for different promotions, or even Rock Solid. They like to go up to Timmins, North Bay, Sudbury, and a lot of them are already familiar with me. But going to a new city is great, and I get to, I guess it's a little bit more pressure because I need to make a good first impression. I'm like, I need to make sure that they come back and Rock Solid come back, and yeah, but I'm super excited. I love going to these small towns because people are, and they like come out in the hundreds, right?
Oh yeah.
So because with some of these towns, they may not get a ton of traffic or things coming up that way. I know, because I'm originally from a small town. So yeah, they have something cool like that, and everyone comes, the entire family, and I'm super excited about that. So,
well, and you've been doing some traveling recently too. You just did some work over in the United States. Was that your first time going over there for work? How was that whole experience for you?
it's good. I've been very fortunate this summer. I've been able to travel quite a bit in Michigan and New York the last couple months. Super, super excited. Very fortunate to be able to branch out. And I love wrestling in Canada and the Canadian wrestling scene. But as many people know, you do need to out at some point. So I've been really being able to do that, and I've been able to wrestle and gain some relationships with some really great people. So yeah, it's great, and I have a couple more American dates lined up, and hopefully I can travel to more states.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear that. It's definitely well deserved. I've had the privilege to not only watch you, but announce you a couple times as well. And you are definitely a great hand to have. So I love seeing that success come your way. That's fantastic. You also had a little bit of success pretty early on, too. A couple of years ago, you did some work with Impact Wrestling, correct?
I did, yes.
So how did that opportunity come your way? Because that's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, I was super fortunate. So I've done a couple of things in the past with Impact. So I ended up doing the first little bit. I did an extra work as an undead bridesmaid for Sue Young.
Okay, I believe Nova did that as well, right?
She did, yeah. It was an incredible experience, incredible opportunity. I love Sue, which is great because it's a full circle moment. That like the first maybe year or 2 years into my career, I got to do that extra work with Sue, and now I get to wrestle Sue at Combat One in Michigan.
Nice.
So I got to have that opportunity. It was a very cool, like, full circle moment, and they kind of brought it into a storyline, which is super cool. So yeah, I was right place, right time, and great attitude, and was there to help out, and I got picked. I had the right look that they were looking for. So, which is, I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult for an undead bridesmaid. So I did that a couple times. So they were familiar with me, and then I got the amazing opportunity to do a match against Jessica Havoc when she first debuted, which was an amazing opportunity, and she hands down is one of the nicest people I've ever met. very gracious, very like made sure I was comfortable, made sure I was good in the locker room, and everyone was being nice to me, and I was getting treated well. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have those opportunities, and I hope I get another opportunity, and they give me an opportunity to have an actual match.
I would love to see that as well. We do some media work with Impact Wrestling, so I'll have to reach out to some people, all right, that probably don't have a clue who I am, and I'll be like, you get the Kung Fu Panda on there. Let's go. We want to see it.
That's it. That's the only way I'll do it.
Yeah.
Through Krystal Moon, it's Kung Fu Panda. That's it. Done.
All the way. Working in front of that Impact audience and on TV like that and being in that locker room, what's some of the biggest takeaways that you learned from just, being in that type of a big atmosphere?
It was insane. Like, just the locker room was great. Like, the ladies were just so like welcoming and were there for each other, and everyone was so like complimentary towards each other, and like it was great. And they didn't make me feel like I was just an extra, right? They made me feel like I did belong in that locker room. And just being able to even get some feedback from Gail Kim, an absolute legend in women's wrestling, which was great. And just having that experience. And another thing, it was cool having one of my coaches, Ben, was backstage as well. So being able to share that moment, one of the biggest moments of my career, with somebody that I owe my career to, was really, really cool. And the atmosphere was great, because they always get the excitement for the local talent, right? So it was in Windsor, but there was enough people from the area that like knew who I was, so I got a reaction.
Nice.
My entrance wasn't filmed, but I still got to have an entrance, and I still got the cheers and everything for the crowd. I just was in the ring when it went live. But yeah, it was incredible. It was great.
What's it like, you finish your match and everything goes well, and you said that it was very well receptive with Jessica, but what's it like when you walk backstage after that? Is there people there that are kind of there going over things with you and giving instant feedback, or is it just like, hey, great job, thank you? Like, what's the immediate reaction like when you walk through the curtain after that?
Yeah, so immediate reaction, like obviously once I got back there, you definitely get feedback, and I got feedback from Jessica and Gail. It was immediate, like, everything's good, you're okay, perfect, this was good, just work on this, which is great, because you always want the feedback, especially from people from that caliber, right? And I knew quite a few people backstage, so I got like the hugs and we're so proud of you and that congratulations and stuff. But like, even people I just met, like another amazing human, and I've also had the opportunity to share a locker room with him as a wrestler, was Rhino.
Nice.
Was another great human. And like, before I even went out, we were just talking, and he was trying to just get to know me as a person, because obviously he knew I was nervous. It was a big opportunity for me early into my career. So he was just like, where are you from? And we kind of chatted, because he had been in that area quite often. So we were like chatting about that, and by the time I was ready to go, like I was obviously nervous, but just having that separation of like thinking and having a nice conversation with Rhino was really good. But yeah,
that's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
And you've also done some work up with us here at Barrie Wrestling. I've had the pleasure to introduce you a couple of times, which is super cool for me. You have a great aura, a great presence. There's certain people that when I introduce them in the ring and they get in the ring, you can kind of feel something like radiate off them a little bit. You know what I mean? Like this little it factor. And when you get in the ring, it's definitely a cool feeling. Like you can feel that unspoken it thing. So like that's really cool for me to get to introduce you. What are some of your memories about coming up and working with Barrie Wrestling?
I love Barrie. I want to come back, Sean. You gotta get me back in there. But no, so I've had the opportunity to wrestle twice at Barrie. My first match, it was supposed to be a one-on-one match. Oh no, three times.
Yeah.
So my first time, it was supposed to be me and Haley Dillon, but I think at the time she had a minor injury. So it ended up turning into a trios match, me and the rest of Empire versus Pretty Ricky, Puff, and Haley Dillon. And that was probably the most ridiculous match I've ever been a part of. Like, my favorite memory of the entire match is like just doing like the Squirtle spit water, me and Puff just like going back at each other with the water, dumping water on him. He's dumping water on me. Like, so ridiculous. Like, poor Brad trying to figure out what was going on. So that was great. And then I had the number 1 contenders match against it was Laurel Cassidy, who I've wrestled quite a bit. So it was cool to do that match in a different setting, in a different place, because we've wrestled a lot obviously at Crossbody in Cambridge. So being able to do that, and we have such a difference in looks and personalities, so that's really cool to play off of a different crowd. And then I got to have my match against the champ at the time, Taylor Rising, and loved that. Had a ton of fun, and I didn't get the job done, but I would love to be back and have a shot at that women's title that Shiloh now has. So yeah.
Yeah, you hear that, Sean? We want some Empire back up there. All right, bring them up, and even bring Matt Grant up too. All right, I know
Matthew Grant.
Yeah, you bring him up. Him and Mikey Jenkins got some unfinished business going on up there in Barrie.
Mike Jenkins, that's like my child right there.
Oh, I love him. I've had the pleasure to speak with him a couple of times now up there in Barrie, and everything, like that entrance with the little, like, it's like the modified Bushwhacker march and his music. Like, he's just contagiously makes you happy.
The crazy thing is that that's him outside of the ring. Like, he is genuinely like the nicest, sweetest human being I've ever met. He's one of my like best friends outside of wrestling, and like so happy for him. And that's him at all the time. Like, that energy and that smile and always laughing and trying to make other people happy and stuff. So,
you know, you can kind of tell that though, because like just watching him in the ring, like you can't fake that type of happiness in the world. You know what I mean? It's just such a pure joyfulness coming off of him. So big shout out to you, Mikey Jenkins. All right, we got to talk about crossbody pro wrestling, of course. I'm saving it to closer to the end here. You are the current crossbody wrestling women's champion. How proud are you to hold that title in the promotion that is your home? You know, that's where you came up, you did your training there with Ben. How proud are you to step back and just be such a big focal point of everything going on there right now?
Oh, I love it. And the way that I won it, it was a years-long feud against the best in Canada, like in Alexia Nicole, not even just, in my opinion, the top female, but one of the top wrestlers in Canada, man, woman, I don't care. It's Alexia. She was the champ for quite a while. And we had a very, very heated feud, and it ended up in a 30-minute Iron Woman match, which was absolutely incredible. Hands down, still to this day, my favorite match I've ever had in the 6 years that I've been wrestling. Favorite opponent. She's also my favorite opponent. So it was a very emotional time. Like, I cried and cried and cried, and had that moment. And it was so cool to have some of my favorite people also come out and celebrate with me, like Matt Grant and Ben and Tyler and Hot Stepper and Brother Earth, and have all those people that are very important to me come out and congratulate me and celebrate me. And having that moment with Ben in the ring, of like me after winning that match in that 30-minute Iron Woman match, and having that moment of like, this, I'm so grateful, like this, thank you for giving me this opportunity and letting me take over this title reign in this division. So yeah, it's super important to me. It's I think one of the best looking titles.
It's really nice.
And I've held it for well over a year, and I feel like I'm gonna hold it for another year, fingers crossed. Because there's only been two women's champs in the for the total promotion. The promotion has been around for 7 years. There's only been 2 champs, me and Alexia. So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna hold it for for a little bit longer, or maybe a lot longer. But yeah, it's just it's very, very important to me to represent that promotion and that gym and the people that have come out of it. Yeah.
I want to stay on the topic of Alexia Nicole then, because that was definitely something I wanted to talk about with you. You guys just have such amazing chemistry together. I saw you guys in a 4-way match live in person with, I believe Cecil Nix was in there and Addie Starr. I think you guys did the card with Fulton on it. I think that was there. And that was a great match. I really enjoyed that. But there's always something special when you and Alexia get together. What is it about Alexia that just brings the best out in Krystal Moon?
I don't know what it is. Obviously, she's amazing. So I feel like I have to try to at least reach that level or be somewhat close. But no, it was just, I feel like it was just an instant thing with me and her. We just get along really well, and we just communicate really well. We worked each other so much and wrestled each other so much that like we just know each other really well. And it's so much fun to have those opportunities with her, and I'm very fortunate to have those opportunities with her. And yeah, it's just, like I said, hands down my favorite opponent, my forever enemy. I would wrestle her 100 more times if I could. So
what goes through your mind when Ben walks up to you and says, okay, it's you and Alexia, Iron Woman match, you're going 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was crazy because like at that point I was finally feeling great about where I was at in the ring and my gear, and it was all coming together. And it was after the pandemic, and we had really restarted building everything, and it was a new location. I was training really hard, and yeah, Ben came up to me. He's like, it's time. Like, this is your moment. I was like, sweet, cool. And he was like, okay, we're gonna figure out like a gimmick match. It's gonna be really important. You guys are gonna main event, but I haven't thought of what we're gonna do. I'm like, okay. And then a week after he told me that, he's like, okay, do you think you can go 30 minutes? I'm like, we're gonna see. It was completely nerve-wracking, and it was yeah, the biggest match of my career still to this date, and being able to share it with her. But I also believe it was her first 30-minute Iron Woman match as well, so we got to experience that together and finish the story of our rivalry that we had for 3 years, I think, at least. So it was it was extremely nerve-wracking. I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want to let Ben down, or Tid down, or Tyler down, or the crowd, or my friends and my family. But I didn't. At least they didn't tell me that I didn't. So yeah.
And it was a great match. I absolutely love that match. It's definitely in contention for one of the matches of the year that year, for sure, on the independent scene and here in Ontario. We got to talk about Ben. Big Ben Ortmans. I love that man to death. He is just such a great person. The first question I want to ask you about him is, who's beaten Ben up more, you or Ronda Rousey? Because I bet you throw him around pretty good in training too.
We've had a couple like training matches, obviously, and we've had a few matches on at Crossbody. No, it was one. We've only had one match aired. It was back at the old gym in Kitchener on Agnes, and it was when Ben first started doing the student showcases back in the day. And at the time my opponent had got hurt or canceled or whatever, and I didn't have an opponent when I got there, and Ben was like, okay, it's gonna be me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm wrestling not only my coach, but Big Ben Ortmans, and somebody that's been doing this for years and has been all over. So it's obviously very, very nerve-wracking, but it was great. He's my coach, so he knew what I wanted, like what I could do, and how to make me look good. And there's one moment where he had me. He gave me a nasty power bomb, and I remember he did the thing, and he had me up, and he's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I went, and it went silent, and yeah, everyone thought I I was done for. But I wasn't. I ended up winning that match. I tricked him a little bit. But yeah, I would love to do it again. At crossbody in front of more people, and it to be taped for Uproar, but who knows if that'll happen. So yeah, it's I've beaten him up quite a bit, but I know Rhonda has beaten him up too.
Well, now you know if the next time that you guys get in the ring that the armbar is his kryptonite, right?
Yes, exactly.
I want to stay on the topic of Ben. I believe I saw him announce today, I could be wrong, that he will also be going up to Kirkland Lake. I saw that announcement today, and that makes me so happy because I know that Ben has missed a lot of time over the last year with a pretty serious injury. I think I can speak on behalf of both of us when I say that I just absolutely love the fact that we get to see Ben back in the ring. How happy were you, when you guys showed up to that Uproar taping and you saw Ben in his gear and he's ready to go?
Oh, the atmosphere and the vibe backstage, like even at Gorilla, like watching, we were all around the monitor watching, and as he was going out and his like music hit, we were all screaming. We were all so excited. We all like felt the vibe of it. But I was one of the first people to really find out that he was wrestling that night. And he told me what was going on. There was a weird thing with the card and booking and traveling or whatever. So he told me, he's just like, but I found an opponent for this guy, for Isaiah Cross. And I was like, okay, who's it going to be? And Ben's like, it's going to be me. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I'm like, are you sure? Like, I got excited. And then I was like, wait, are you sure? Are you sure? We're good. And he's like, yeah, we're good. But yeah, and then everybody else found out. And obviously the locker room went crazy and loved it. And there was a group of us at Gorilla watching on the monitor, just like so excited, so happy for him. And you could just tell that he was home. He was where he was supposed to be.
I remember hearing about that too. And I just like my whole insides just got so warm with happiness because that man is just like, the word I like to use is just passion with him. He is so passionate and he's just such a great human being. We've talked to Ben a couple of times. I'll actually, I don't think I've ever said this on air before, but we were actually talking with Ben when Uproar first started like being a conversation, and he had reached out to myself and Mike about possibly doing the commentary for Uproar. I guess they got some guy named Speedball Mike Bailey to do it instead, though. I don't know. I've never heard of the guy before personally, but
who's he ever beaten? I don't know.
Yeah, who's he ever beaten? But I was just like, the fact that Ben would even, have Mike and I on his radar, it meant the world to us, right? Like we were just so happy and honored that he would even think about us, and just like the possibilities of getting to learn from Ben. And that's something that, like, every time I see Ben, I learned something from Ben, whether it's a wrestling related thing or just like a kind of a life thing. Like I just love the man to death, and I definitely hope that we see him up in Barrie soon as well, since I don't do as much traveling as I used to do, but that's all right. So we got to get Ben up there. We got to get you back up here. We want the crossbody takeover up here in Barrie a little bit.
Yes, please.
That's it. That's the next big feud: crossbody versus Barrie wrestling. All right.
Yes.
What's something that Ben said with you that stuck? Like, is there like one kind of thing or a couple things that Ben has said to you and it's just like, holy shit, like click?
I don't know if it was anything in particular, but just like, it was just like, just stick with it. Like he realized very quickly that I loved wrestling and I had a deep passion for wrestling, and I wanted to really give this my all and really go ahead and try to make a career or whatever out of it. And when I came to crossbody, I wasn't super athletic. I didn't really play any sports. Like I played hockey, but I wasn't super athletic. And I didn't pick it up right away. Honestly, I didn't. Like I felt like I was maybe a little behind the pack, and I just was very frustrated a lot of the times. Just because I just wanted to be good at it. I just wanted to really just give my all, and I just want it to happen. And there was a lot of times where I counted myself out because I felt like it wasn't going to happen. But Ben saw something in me and never gave up on me and kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. And eventually I got it. Like, I don't know what moment it was. But Ben had told me, he's like, you have it. You're good. Don't, like, you got it. Right. So it was just his never ending belief in me that I could make it and do this. Because we're all hard on ourselves, especially with something that we're really trying to do and try to make your life. But yeah, he never gave up on me. So I'm very, very appreciative of that. When there's probably times he should have, I would have. So
Yeah, I mean, good for him for seeing that. And I know, because I'm a big self-doubt guy myself. I never think I do a good job ever at anything. Like anytime I'm done announcing and Barry, and I recently, like, I've never said this on air either. I don't think I have, so I'll talk to you about it because I think kind of relates to what we're talking about. I was in the ring after doing an entrance for, I believe, Van Landen, who that's like my big one that I do now. And Brad Myers walked up to me, who I just have the most respect for. I just, like, he's
love
incredible,
Brad
right?
Myers.
And
He
he
is the best.
yeah, he's incredible. And just all the little things that Brad does that you never would know unless like you're in there, right? And he just kind of walked up to me as the entrance was going, and he looked at me and he went, "You're getting pretty fucking good at this." And I was like, "Oh, Brad, I really needed that," because I never think I do a good job. Every time I'm done the show, I'm like, I didn't like how I did this. I should have done this better. I suck tonight. And you know, everyone's really assuring. I'm sure it's the same with you. You probably are your worst critic, right?
Always, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's what pushes us to want to be the best that we can be, right? If we always, if we're like, I'm the best, then we're never going to get better, right?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Other people that you have fantastic chemistry with, we talked about Lexi Nicole, and I want to talk about Empire. Tell me about Empire. How did this come together? This is just like the perfect fit with the three of you. How much fun are you having working with these guys?
Love them. So honestly, it's been a little bit in the making. We had talked about it for a while, like pre-COVID, just trying to make it work and stuff. But at the time, I was kind of in a trios with Kyle Brooks, who goes under Brother Earth now, and Andrew Love. And we were trying to get some steam under that. But I remember talking to Matt and saying, hey, like, is there any interest in joining Empire and maybe at some different promotions? And I was like, well, it's something to think about. This is what I'm currently doing. And then at the time, like, I was friends with Matt and JT, but I wasn't super close with them. So I wasn't sure how I really felt about it. And then like a friendship blossomed from there, and I wasn't doing a trios thing with the other two guys anymore. And then it just happened, and I was like, you know what? I was like, let me try something different. Like, I've been doing single stuff for a while, and they gave me this opportunity, and it gave me the opportunity to work for PWO, which now is another one of my promotions that I feel is my second home. And I got that opportunity, and then Matt turned into one of my best friends outside of wrestling. Talk to him every day. We travel almost everywhere together now. We're in the same car. So yeah, it's just fun getting to hang out with like two of your really good friends that you like get along with and joke around with. And like we have so different styles in the ring too, which is cool. Like JT's more of like the power guy. Matt is like the mouthpiece, like, and he's like a little bit more like high flying ish, like throw caution to the wind kind of guy. And then I'm like a little bit more of maybe a striker and like submission based. Well, that's what I prefer to do. And yeah, it was cool too, because at the time there wasn't a ton of trio teams as well that had a female. I think I'm one of the only females to hold the trios titles in PWO, which I'm very proud of. I don't quote me on that. I believe it is, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, and now we like tear it up as anywhere that we can.
I love the work that you guys are doing. You guys, it definitely shows the chemistry is there. You guys get great heel heat together when you're together. If you're working as babyface, you get great face reaction as well. You did mention a name though that I just have to give a little bit of shine to as well. We put Mikey Jenkins over a little bit earlier. You mentioned the name Brother Earth. Is it safe to say best gimmick going on the indie scene right now? I love it. I love it so much.
He's the best, and like going back, like how we say Mikey is like genuinely like the nicest human inside and outside of the ring. Brother Earth is like, he literally loves the earth. Like that's him. Like he knows so much useless facts, but it's not. But yeah, he just loves being outside and loves the planet, and that's genuinely him. And everyone says like with your wrestling gimmick, it's just you times 100, and that's Brother Earth. But yeah, he has a great gimmick, great look, and he obviously can wrestle. He comes from a great gym, obviously at Crossbody, and feel like the Uproar tapings really brought something out in Brother Earth that we've been all I think have been waiting for him to grab. So I think the next season of Uproar is really going to be Brother Earth for the taking.
I love that. I saw him work Hot Stepper at a Crossbody show.
Yeah.
And man, those guys tore the house down together. But and I may have told this to him at a show that I saw him at. But my big memory of that match is not only how incredible it was, but his stick broke, and that was such a beautiful stick. And I remember when it broke, I was like, "Oh, that's such a nice stick."
We found that on a walk, and he brought it home, and he like whittled it down and stained it himself. Did the tool stuff on it, like it was his prized possession at the time, and yeah, his stick broke.
That damn Hot Stepper. Well, as we start to bring it home here, Krystal, I always like to end my interview by asking everybody this question. And I don't know, maybe I've already gotten your answer from it because we've talked about a lot of incredible stuff. But when you take a look back at everything that you've done in your career, whether it's a moment inside the ring, outside the ring, just being around the business, what are some personal things for you that just make you smile when you think about them?
There's a few. So like obviously we talked about like me winning the Crossbody Women's Championship. That was super important to me, getting to wrestle one of my favorite people, and like I said, my favorite opponent. But like that moment obviously was special to me. But there was a moment behind the scenes that it's a video that I think maybe me, her, and Albright have seen, just because, and maybe Ben, just because Albright obviously filmed it. But we just went backstage, and we just like hugged each other and cried. We just wrestled each other for 30 some minutes. It was that like the final chapter of our long like storied feud, and we have so much respect and love and appreciation for each other. We're just like hugging each other. We're sweating and crying and just like sobbing because we love each other, and we respect each other, and it was a big moment. So that's very, very important to me, and every time I think about it, and I watch the video every once in a while, and it makes me smile. Just representing Crossbody, I'm very proud of where I come from, and being able to travel a lot more, and people ask me where I've been trained and who's my trainer. I take a lot of pride in that. And then just obviously it's a cheesy answer, but like I have some of the best friends in the absolute world from wrestling, that I travel with, and I see each other every day and text me and stuff. So I'm very fortunate to have those friendships. Those are probably some things that make me smile and happy and stuff. So
I can vouch for that firsthand on behalf of you, because I've only gotten to come down to Crossbody the one show there. And I think we might have been speaking after the show. I can't remember if it was you or not. I'm pretty sure it was. And I told you, you guys are a family here. Like you have something really special. And it shows in the product that you guys are doing. Uproar is just a fantastic thing. It's probably so good for all you guys to learn what that weekly television format is like. But the camaraderie and the familyness, you could feel it in the air. You guys all love what you're doing. You all love each other, and it makes the product amazing. And it makes us proud to support Crossbody Pro Wrestling as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a family there. We have a really good locker room. We have a really good group of students. We have a couple that are, I know for sure, one that's very close to getting their green light, and I'm super excited for that for him. And yeah, we have some new students, and always looking for more. So yeah, it's a great place to be for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. I love to hear that. Another great place to be is going to be in Kirkland Lake, Saturday, August the 19th. Rock Solid Wrestling is presenting punches, pile drivers, and pinfalls. And Krystal Moon is going to be there hitting all those punches, pile drivers, and scoring those pinfalls, right?
I don't know if I'll be doing pile drivers because Jake O'Reilly's going to be there, and he's the master of the pile drivers. So I don't think I'll be doing pile drivers.
Fair.
But everything else I will.
You probably don't want to go to the bar with him after either. I've heard that him and Kirkland Lake bars are not getting along too well, but yeah, you never know if you're feeling wild. Kirkland Lake will bring out the crazy in everybody, right?
Apparently.
Perfect. Well, Krystal, I can't thank you enough for sitting down and taking some time and joining us tonight. Do you want to let the people know where they can find you, everything Krystal Moon related?
Yeah, so Instagram and Twitter, it's at Krystal with a K, Moon _PW. You can follow me, share my posts, ask where I'm at. You can see I'm in Hilton this weekend for PWO, and then following weekend I'm in the States, and then obviously Kirkland Lake, which I'm super excited for. And yeah, I'm just around, and just shoot me a message, like my posts. If you see a promotion like Barry that you want me to be at, just reach out.
Yeah, Sean Gibson. We need more. We need more Krystal Moon. All right. Well, yes. Krystal, again, thank you so much. On behalf of Mike, who could not be here, on behalf of the Kung Fu Panda, on behalf of the X-Men, yes, and on behalf of Brother Earth Stick, R.I.P., you guys have all been counted out. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.